What's up, everybody? Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, back with another Daily Deck Tech video, and back with another viewer request. We have quite a few viewer requests to get through, and those will be coming out here in the next few days, maybe with some other ones sprinkled in between for when I'm working on those decks. But today we have Yurlock of Scorch, Thrash. And before we get into that, if you like my Daily Deck Techs, if you like Magic for the Working Class, or historical commander, discussion content, anything else in between, feel free to subscribe. But only if you feel I have earned it. And now, without further ado, so this request was for a budget of $600 or less. Hey, I came in a little bit cheap, so leaving about $60 worth of budget room for custom cards if they so choose. And of course, whenever I do a viewer request or any deck tech, feel free to look at it, make it your own, and do what you want to do. I treat them kind of like pre-cons that you upgrade and change as you need. But who is Yurlock? A commander that I've actually really wanted to make into a commander for a long time, because I am old enough to remember mana burn. And that's what this commander does. He's a 4/4 for 1 generic and Jund, Vigilance, and a player losing unspent mana causes that player to lose that much life. And then you can tap 1 and tap it, and each player adds Jund to their mana pool. So back in the day, if you left mana in your mana pool, say you added 10 mana to your mana pool, and you couldn't use it all, what would happen is that it would deal damage to you as steps and phases ended. It could hurt. You had to have things to sink your mana into. But I believe mana burn went away in 10th edition. The same time they got rid of damage on the stack and nuked a whole bunch of creature types. I think it was 10th edition where they did that. So today we're going to be adding a bunch of mana, helping others add a bunch of mana. Hopefully they don't also have mana sinks. And if they do, have ways to kill those mana sinks, and then have some mana sinks ourselves. So, what do we got here? Well, first and foremost, we got Apocalypse Hydra. It's an X-cast spell. It's a mana sink is what it is. Apocalypse Hydra enters the battlefield with X/1/1 counters on it. If X is 5 or more, you get to have it enter with an additional X/1/1 counters on it. Then you can pay 2, remove a 1/1 counter from Apocalypse Hydra. It deals 1 damage to target creature or player. So you can sink a whole bunch of mana into it. You can go ahead and attack with it. And if you have a whole bunch more mana at some point in time, you can ping something to death. We have Barbed Flare Gremlin, first strike haste. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, if Barbed Flare Goblin or Gremlin is tapped, that player adds 1 mana of any type that land could produce. Then it deals 1 damage to that player. This does include yourself. A lot of these are symmetrical effects. We have Belb Corrupted Observer, 2/2 for 2. At the beginning of each player's post-combat main phase, that player adds 2 colorless for each of your opponents who lost life this turn. So if a bunch of them lose life, during turns, because they lose mana as steps and phases end, then they're going to get to add that colorless. If they don't have a way to use that colorless, then boom. And then we have Bloodletter of Alcazatz. Yes, it's a little bit sketchy to be running triple pip in here, but we do have green for fetch, and we have lots of ways to add mana, so it should be okay. But Bloodletter of Alcazatz is 1 generic, triple black, 2/4 flying. If an opponent would lose life during your turn, they lose twice that much life instead. So if we use this on our turn, they get that mana. If they can't spend that mana, Bloodletter is going to make them lose more life. Bloodthirsty Conqueror, whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. This is going to help stabilize you. In case you mana burn yourself, you're going to be able to mana burn your opponents as well. Also, this card being $50 is insane, friends. It is a 5-drop. Let us just take a moment. It is a 5-drop. In Modern Commander, this is a slower card. It is a 5/5 for 5. Why on God's green earth is it $50? And the foil version here is the cheaper of the things because it's $45. Absurd. Bloom Tender, who also needs more reprints, $19 for a 1/1 for 2, and then for each color among permanents you control, add 1 mana of that color to your mana pool. So if you have your commander out there, it gets to add some Jund mana. Then we have Dose in the Falling Leaf. Players can only play spells during their turn. So if you make them add mana on your turn while you have Dosen out there, they're just going to automatically take some mana burn, and I'm okay with that. Then we have these effects in here, and Electro isn't the only one. That's going to bank up your mana, so you don't lose it, and you don't lose that much life then. Electro is you don't lose unspent red mana. It steps in phase's end. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, you add a red mana. And when Electro leaves the battlefield, you may pay X. If you do, he deals X damage to any target. Glowing the Mighty, during your first main phase, he's going to add double green. Or sorry, not double green, double red. Holy cow. Disclaimer, I'm running on exactly 1 hour of sleep. I got home from work at 2 and cooked a whole big lunch for my daughter for her first day of preschool. So, you know, I'm doing dad things here. So a little bit on the sleepy side. You can probably tell by the bags on my eyes. We have Goblin Anarchomancer. Each spell you cast that's red or green costs 1 less to cast. That's always nice. Heartless Hidetsuku. I just love this card. That's why it's in here. I enjoy this card. And when we're wanting to burn people, what's better than burning them for half of their life? Yes, it hurts you too. But if you have Bloodthirsty Conqueror out there, you gain a lot of life because they're losing that life, right? It's dealing damage, so they lost life. And you get to gain so much as a result. So good. Then we have a Noble Hierarch. It's, of course, Exalted. It's just Noble Hierarch for Jund. We have Keeper of Progenitus. Oh, God bless Progenitus. 1/3 for 4. Whenever a player taps a mountain, forest, or plains for mana, that player adds 1 mana of his or her mana pool of any type that land produced. We have Lava Leaper. All creatures have haste. Whenever a player taps a basic land for mana, that player adds 1 mana of any type that land produced. We're just going to be doubling up people's mana and then hoping they can't spend it all. Leyline Tyrant, you don't lose unspent red mana. When this creature dies, you may pay an amount of red. If you do, it deals that much damage to any target. So it's just a bigger version of Electro. We have Land of War Elves in here. We have Magus of the Candelabra to untap our lands, since we're going to be doubling up. We do have some X casting cost spells that will blow people out of the game. Magus of the Vineyard, at the beginning of each player's per-combat main phase, they add double green to their mana pool. We have Marvin. He gets the activated abilities of all creatures you control with activated abilities that aren't named Marvin, Murderer's Mimic. We have Omnath. You don't lose unspent green mana as steps in phases end, and he gets +1/+1 for each unspent green mana you have. Ozai, Trample, Firebending, 4 haste. If you lose unspent mana, that mana becomes red instead. Ozai has Flying and Indestructible as long as you have 6 or more unspent mana. Runic Armasaur. Whenever an opponent activates an ability of a creature or land that isn't a mana ability, you may draw a card. So if they try to sink their mana into stuff, your Armasaur is going to draw you some cards. Also, it's a 2/5, so not the smallest creature in the world. It's got big booty. We have Stone Shaker Shaman at the beginning of each player's turn. That player sacrifices an untapped land, incentivizes them to tap all of their lands. Valgavoth, Flying, Ward, pay 2 life, and whenever an opponent loses life for the first time during each of their turns, put a 1/1 counter on Valgavoth, Harrow of Souls, and draw a card. We do have Zira Arian. Now, this is an older card, and it's not the best, but it does synergize with our commander to not mana burn ourselves, right? If you have her out, she costs the exact amount of mana that he's going to add, and then her ability is tap Jund, target player draws a card. Draw yourself a card without mana burning yourself. It's pretty good. Zerta Ancient, 7/5, and whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds 1 mana to his or her mana pool of any type that land produced. We have Zerta Druid in here, tapped at a green, and whenever it becomes tapped for mana, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. It's a good card. Sorceries, we have Animus Awakening. Reveal the top X cards of your library. Put all land cards from among them onto the battlefield, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And then if there are 2 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard, you get to untap those lands and do big, scary, spooky things. We have Cultivate, Tempt with Discovery, and Rampant Growth for our other ramp in sorceries. All right. I know it's not super original. It isn't. But Exsanguinate and Torment of Hailfire will win you games, and you do need ways to close out games because just mana burning people to death is not gonna get you there most of the time because someone's gonna have some sort of artifact that they can dump mana into, like a top, right? or something of that nature. So you got to be able to generate all of your mana to nuke them into submission. Of course, Exsanguinate drains everybody, you gain life. Torment of Hailfire, just, it's a BM card, it ruins everyone's day. You repeat the following process 6 times. Each opponent loses 3 life, unless that player sacks a non-land permanent or discards a card. I've cast this for like 30 before. It's gross. Lavalanche. This is a classic. I had to throw it in here. I loved this card back in the day in Alara, even though I don't play Jund a lot. Lavalanche deals X damage to target player or planeswalker and each creature that player or planeswalker controls. We have ourselves some removal with Abrupt Decay, Assassin's Trophy, Beast Within, Bedevil. Notice a lot of these will hit artifacts and things like that, so you're not going to target creatures that just are creatures so much as you are going to target their mana sinks, right? They're things they can pay mana into. We have Comet Storm, multi-kicker. Choose target creature or player. Then choose another target creature or player for each time Comet Storm was kicked. It deals X damage to each of them. Pretty good. We have Electro Dominance. It deals X damage to any target. You may cast a spell with mana value X or less from your hand, paying its mana cost. And then we have one of my favorite cards in all of Magic the Gathering, Blood for the Blood God. I always have to say it like that. It is what it is. It's 8 and double black and red. And this spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature that died this turn. And then you discard your hand and then draw 8 cards. Blood for the Blood God. Deals 8 damage to each opponent. Exile Blood for the Blood God. And then collect your skulls for the Skull Throne. Yeah, Chaos Warp's in here for removal as well. Erebos Intervention. You can nuke a single creature and gain a ton of life, or you can exile a bunch of cards from a graveyard. Graveyard hates someone to death. We have Harrow for ramp. Putrefy and Terminate are also removal. Artifacts. We have Staff of Domination as a mana sink, right? You add 3 mana to your mana pool with your commander, and you can go ahead and gain 2 life off of that, or untap a creature, or pay some extra mana to draw a card, and then sink some mana into untapping Staff. We also have Horizon Stone. If you would lose unspent mana, it becomes colorless mana instead, and it just sits there for you. Not bad. Also, this card being a buck is nice. Alright, enchantments. We have Citadel of Pain at the beginning of each player's turn. Citadel of Pain deals X damage to that player, where X is the number of untapped lands he or she controls. And yeah, that is again punishing them for not tapping their lands, which will punish them for tapping them. Dictate of Karametra. This adds extra mana to mana pool. Eladamri's Vineyard. You get to add 2 mana during each player's pre-combat main phase. They get 2 green. We have ourselves Exquisite Blood. Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. It's Bloodthirsty Conqueror, the original, just on an enchantment. This card is also $40. Come on, people. These cards should not be this expensive. Heartbeat of Spring. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, they get to add an extra mana. Helix Pinnacle. This is an obscure win condition. You pay X. It has Shroud. You pay X. Put X tower counters on this enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 100 or more tower counters on this enchantment, you win the game. It's a slow one, but an alternate win con if you don't want to do the X spells up top. Mana Barbs. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, it deals 1 damage to them. Mana Flare. They get to add an extra mana. Overabundance. Whenever a player taps on land for mana, they add an additional 1. But Overabundance also deals 1 damage to them. Descent into Avernus to help burn people down and accelerate the game even further. Power Surge. At the beginning of a player's turn, before the untap phase, the player must take a counter for each of his or her lands that is not tapped during that player's upkeep. Power Surge does 1 damage to that player for each counter. The counters are then discarded. Let's see if there's an updated version of this card. Yeah. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, it deals X damage to that player, where X is the number of untapped lands they controlled at the beginning of this turn. It's a very strange spell, but it does do a good amount of damage. Price of Glory punishes them from attempting to use their mana on your turn, though. Whenever a player taps a land for mana during another player's turn, destroy that land. And Wound Reflection. At the beginning of each player's end step, each opponent loses life equal to the life they lost this turn. Very good. Basic Jund package in here. I managed to get the Shocklands in here since the budget was higher. Did not put duels in, obviously. I didn't put fetches in either. I did put Twisted Landscape in because the cycling cost is Jund, and that's easy to do. Now, that was the build. Let's take a look at how we play, shall we? All right. We got Ignoble Hierarch. Not going to say that's a bad card to get right off the bat. We're going to play a Swamp. Swampy Swamp. Next turn, we're going to go ahead, play Haunted Ridge. I'm going to go ahead and play Yurlock. We're going to play a Swamp. I am going to play Valgavoth. Do I have something I can sink 3 mana into? Yes, I do. Let's do it. All right, each player is going to add Jund mana to their mana pool. And then I'm going to play Price of Glory. And then some people are going to lose life. Whenever an opponent loses life for the first time on each of their turns, put a 1/1 counter. An opponent lost life. We're going to do that. We're going to draw our card. And then we have next turn. Now we have protection up because we have Price of Glory. What I am going to do is I'm going to tempt people. And it has been my experience that usually only one person takes this. So I'm going to search my library for 2 lands. And I'm going to grab a forest. And I am going to grab Montagne. Yep. And then we have those into play untapped. Do I have something I can play? I can take some mana burn. It's okay. So we're going to add green, red, black. We're going to use green and 1 and put it there. We have 1 mana floating. Our phase ends, so we will take 1. Or we'll lose 1. And our opponents will also lose, so we will draw a card. I believe I played my land for turn. We're going to go ahead and play Forest, Mountain. We're going to, we got our command tower here. I'm going to go ahead and add the triple mana. 3, 4, 5. I'm going to play Zerta Ancient whenever a player taps the land for mana. That player adds 1 mana to his or her mana pool. You know, it adds extra. And then we're going to go for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We're going to cast Apocalypse Hydra for 8, which means it's going to come in with 16 counters. Because it was 5 or more. There we go. We have a big old Apocalypse Hydra. Some people lost some stuff this turn, so we're going to need to draw a card. And we are going to draw. We have a lot of stuff we can do here. We can Comet Storm something. But I don't like the cards in my hand all that much. We are going to bring in Apocalypse Hydra, and we're going to bring in him. He's going to let us draw a card. He gets a counter on him. We'll tap for the 3. We'll put Marvin in to play. We'll put Magus of the Candelabra into play. I have 4 mana. We'll play Dosen. 4 mana. Well, now I have 1 mana floating. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll play him. I should have played him pre-combat main phase, but I'm what we like to call in the business stupid. Yeah. We're gonna go ahead. There we go. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 4. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. We're gonna play Blood for the Blood God. It's gonna go ahead and deal 8 damage to each opponent. We are gonna discard our hand. Draw 8 cards. 1, 2, 3. Pitch this to the graveyard. And Ooh, this, you know, we've got good stuff. We've got good stuff here. Add 3, use that to add 3. So we have 5 mana available. I'm gonna use 4 of it here, so our lands will tap for double them, or an additional in addition to the additional. We will play a forest. We have 1 mana floating. We'll say it's a black mana, and then we'll add green for this, and then use another green to Assassin's Trophy something. There we go. And then we attack. We get Firebending 4. We have a whole bunch of mana sitting there. So we have 4 available mana. And then on our next turn, I go here, we tap this. So each of our lands is tapping for 3 now. Let's see. I think Lavalanche is what we do here to target creature. We just nuke someone. So 3. All right, we'll do this. So it's X is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 27, 28, 29, 28, 29, 30, 30, 31. 31 plus whatever was sitting from Ozai last time. We'll say 37. Or, no, 35. 35 man, 35 somebody with Lavalanche. That's pretty good. That person's probably dead. But you kind of see what the deck wants to do. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you want to see your commander made into a deck tech, feel free to drop it in the comments down below or in the Google form in the video description. Get that done for you. As always, I'm Weston with the Hayden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.